go to my computer. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Leroy McKenzie Jr. Let me see if I can see myself. You still there, aren't you, Don?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna go live to my timeline and share to my timeline, and we're gonna see how this puppy works. Okay, so it's getting ready. It's telling us we're getting ready to go live. So I'll let you know. Make sure I can see you. You can see me.
Oh, shoot. All right. I see the live. It says preparing. All right.
Yep, I think
It's magic, baby.
we might be in business.
Oh, man.
New design go live. Not now. I don't want that. Okay. No, I don't want the live producer. Don't want him. All right, so we can see us. All right, now we're good there. Good there. You ready?
Oh, yeah, like Freddie.
All right, let's go.
Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna add a title real quick. Title. I'm gonna put the title at. Add a title. Where am I putting the title at? Oh. Okay. Let's go live. Now we gotta get preview now. Add a title. Okay. Authors Showcase number 18. That and HD. Uh-oh. All right, so let's see. Saying we're going live again. So, oh, okay. So we are about to go live, everybody. We are here at the Authors Showcase with our guest, Mr. Dominique Brightmon. You still with me, Dom, aren't you?
Sir.
Can you hear me?
Yep, perfectly well.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, sir. You're coming in great.
Okay. All right. So why is that? Why does it have me? Did it kick me out of the meeting or what? What did it do? Okay. No.
Oh, no, you still here, man.
Yeah. To keep meeting
If they
running,
would have
please.
kicked you out, I might have been kicked out too.
I'm a host. Well, it kicked me out for some reason, and it's saying assign a host, but we're still recording, and it says we're still live. So I'm going to cancel that, and we're gonna make sure that we live and that we good. Okay, so it says we're live streaming, so we're gonna go ahead and as if we are live because I still have us recording. So I want to welcome everybody to the Author Showcase, brought to you by the National Black Unity newspaper and JNF Enterprises. We are elated to be able to bring you some of the country's best, brightest, most informative writers, authors, speakers that we are able to bring to you. And we are live today, believe it or not. We are live today. And what we do, what we try to do with the Author Showcase is we try to, as I mentioned, we have a quarterly issue that we come out with. And in the newspaper, which you can go and subscribe to the newspaper at the website www.tnbun.com. You want to go there, you want to subscribe to the newspaper where you can get the quarterly newspaper, and as well as to the YouTube channel where you can, where would like for you to subscribe, like, and share the information. There's some great articles that are in the newspaper that you'll be able to find. That's going to give you some knowledge, information, and resources that you will absolutely be privy to, that you will absolutely have to be able to use at your disclosure in order to be able to in order to be able to learn and grow, which is what we want you to do. And what we have in the newspapers, we have authors that we showcase, that we give, that come and want to bring to this platform some information about their books, what they have going on, speaking engagements that they may have, just a great bit of information, intimate interviews that we had, conversations that we have with them. And today I have with me Mr. Dominique Brightmon, who is an author and a speaker. And I'm not going to give you the bio. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about himself, who he is, where he came from. And Dom, they just don't know the technology and issues that we've gone through
Oh, yeah.
try to make this happen, man. So y'all, you all in for a treat. This brother has some great information that he's going to be sharing with you. He has some great knowledge and just some motivational things that are going to take you, your brand, your business to the next level. So welcome, sir. How are you?
Man, doing great, Leroy, doing great. Sensational Saturday.
I know, right? Exactly. And it's actually a beautiful day outside too. So it's a really nice day. So, people can get their exercise on. Don't go too far. Remember to be safe. And if you're going to be in a crowd more than 10 people, then you want to make sure that you have your mask on and all those safe things and great things. So glad you're able to join me today. And let's get started, because I want you to tell the people just a little bit about you before we get into our conversation about your books and everything that you have going on right now.
Sure thing. So, name's Dominique Dom Brightmon. You can call me Dom for short for those who don't like to use the full multi-syllable names. And been a church boy, raised a church boy all my life. And on my 21st birthday back in 2012, where we thought the world was going to end, but we just lost Twinkies for a month, I got into a car accident. And that car accident, on top of taking care of my father when his Alzheimer's, when he was diagnosed with it, really took its toll on me. And that led to a shift in personal development the following year, where every year I would have this New Year's mantra. Every year I would have a 1 to 3 word phrase to describe my year. 2013 was the year of rebirth, and that started the journey of reading 50 plus books a year and
Really?
taking,
at
least 50 plus books a year, and trying to at least take advice from each book if it applies, and try to apply it to my life, and actually truly try to read to lead, because readers are leaders. And if you read great books that will better you, then you'll eventually better others. And I took the betterment route so much that I was able to publish 2 books and start a podcast that could be heard all over the world.
Oh no, that's a great beginning. Now, is that what started you in wanting to become a writer? Was your passion for reading books?
Yeah, it was the passion for reading books, and not to mention getting around more positive people. Because funny enough, I joined this organization called Toastmasters International to actually learn more about hopefully networking and communicating with others, and to snag a speaker for a public speaking seminar I was going to do at my church in a few months at that time. And after the seminar went off without a hitch, it was successful. I realized, wait a second, I completed my mission, but I'm leaving something on the table.
Oh wow!
So I joined an additional Toastmasters group in Catonsville and heard this speaker by the name of Daniel Alley, who was around 25, at the time, a couple years older than me, and he had this book called "You Are the Boss."
Mm.
It talked about how to act like a leader, and that involves being audacious, contagious, and tenacious. And it was kind of audacious of my man to be 25 with this book. And when I read through the book, it was a nice page turner, and he was talking about the same things I was reading about. So just seeing him in action inspired me to eventually become a millennial author, a best-selling one at that. Funny enough.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome because we never know what kind of triggers us to do certain things, and even when it comes to our peers, how they can motivate us to to do things. So I think that's awesome that you look to him and say, wow, if he can do it, he's same age as I am, then wow, that's something that I can achieve and something that I can do. So I think that's awesome. Yeah. Now, how many books have you written so far?
Right now, two are out, and I'm working on a third.
Okay. All right. And what's the title of the first book?
Yes, sir. So the first book is called Going North: Tips and Techniques to Advance Yourself. And that book, funny enough, was written on a dare from a woman at Toastmasters, funny enough. And the follow-up book is called Stay the Course: The Elite Performers' 7 Secret Keys to Sustainable Success.
Now let's talk about the second book because that's the one that you have featured in the author showcase. Talk about that book and talk about where the title came from, and then what you actually what the book is, an overview of the book.
Sure thing. So the first book itself, it was published back in 2016, October. 6 months later, my dad passes away
Mm.
after his long battle with Alzheimer's, and it
Oh
just
wow.
got worse. And I was dealing with some grief
Mm.
for the next few weeks, if not months after that, and I wasn't aware. And the major key to elite performance is awareness, because
Mm.
I was called into a meeting with my bosses at the time, and this was a few months after the funeral and everything like that, and they asked if I was okay, and I thought I was doing okay, and then they were like, "Hey, this happened, that happened, and all these other things happened." I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, well, something's got to change here, and not just quarters and nickels. Something has to change." And I figured, all right, I'm not really self-aware enough right now. And then it just hit me, because back when I published the first book, I said I was going to publish a follow-up book to the first book, because the first book, like I said before, was written on a dare, and another part about that dare, I had a year to do it.
Okay.
And the follow-up book was supposed to tie in some missing pieces from the first book.
Mm.
And this was the major key that really was the thesis for it that led to the other keys to sustainable success. So it's all about self-awareness and being aware of what's going on in your mind, your body, and your spirit, and really being aware of yourself. Because if you're going to be at your best, you have to know where you are in your mind, body, and spirit. Because if you don't know where you are in those areas, it's going to seep out in different ways, because our weaknesses will determine where we go in life if they show up more than our strengths do.
Absolutely. Now that was the first book. Now talk about what made you want to write the stay the course, and then how'd you come up with that title?
Yeah, so stay the course. It was actually a message to myself and others who already are on that personal growth trail to stay focused on what you're doing. Because
Hmm.
I lost the focus after the first book was done.
Okay. Okay.
And when you stay the course and you feel like you're on the right path, that's
Mm.
where you need to do, because it's easy to get off of the path and to not stay the course, because I myself was going through that time where I wasn't truly focused, and I wasn't as mindful as I thought I was. I still have
Mm.
some learning and growing to do.
Hmm.
And when it comes to personal and professional development, we always have learning and growing to do, no matter what level we are. A lot of folks, even at high level, they still read books. They may
Right.
not try to read like maybe 50 plus books a year, but they'll at least try to get to at least a book a month or a book a week to at
Hmm.
least keep their mind fresh. And then
Absolutely.
is a message too, is this, you just have to keep yourself fresh and keep yourself renewed. Kind of like the whole Romans 12:1, to have a renewed mind where you're
Hmm.
refreshed and ready to take in what's new for the betterment of yourself that'll eventually better others. So staying the course is just making sure that you're self-aware, so that way you can be renewed and you can be refreshed to take on anything that comes your way, and to stay focused. Because if you don't stay focused, you're going to falter, you're going to fall, and you're going to have to find a way to get back to the first step, which is the focus, as opposed to the faltering off the course from the first place.
Absolutely. Now, is that the message that you want the reader to come away with when they read Stay the Course?
Of course, to always be focused and always take intentional, massive action.
Mm.
Because it's great to take action, it's better to take massive action, but the best option is making sure that it's massive and intentional when you're taking action, because it's great to take action. It's like, all right, turned on the TV, that's action. But that might not be the right action. Massive action could be turning on the TV and then grabbing a beer first thing in the morning, even in this pandemic. It's like, oh. Massive
It might not be the
intentional.
best thing to do, right?
Exactly. It's like, don't start your day off with that. I know it's mad, but dang, don't start your day off with that.
Exactly.
But massive intent.
That's funny.
But the real MIA, though, the massive intentional action, is when you wake up and you say, thank you, Lord, for another day. The COVID-19 dodged my house today. You had the blood on my door from this darn plague. And I'm going to be grateful for this day. And something wonderful is going to happen to me today. I'm going to gain something. I got a bunch of books around my home that I still would like to read, and I try to read at least bits and pieces of it.
Mhm.
So it's better to actually take advantage of the time you have, getting on more interviews like this, getting on more podcasts like this, talking to other folks, calling on folks, heck, even in your church family, checking up on them.
Mm.
Funny enough, some folks in my church family, we've been more connected a little bit more now during this pandemic than before,
Right.
because we're all in the same place. We're basically trapped home unless we're getting our essentials. So
Mhm.
making sure you take that action that's intentional and massive and focused.
Now, your the subtitle to your book is, I want to make sure I get this right. The Elite Performer's Seven Secrets to Sustainable Success. Now, what's your definition of success? How do you define success?
Yes, I define success as self-mastery.
Mm.
And self-mastery
Wow.
involves self-awareness, and not only self-awareness, but self-expression. So self-mastery is self-awareness and self-expression. When you
Mm.
have those two pieces, the mastery will come in, because if you're aware of how much you're growing and learning, and then when you are aware of how much you're growing, and you also express that freely and fully, like being an extrovert, even when you're an introvert like myself and you extrovert yourself out there, that's self-mastery, because mastery is realizing that you have a foundation of the basics and you can keep going with those basics. It's kind of like a whole core value sort of thing, where you kind of like you have your own 10 commandments of life, of making sure you have the golden rule, treat others the way they want to be treated, or
Mhm.
treat others better than what they want to be treated, because some people don't know how to be treated
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's true. No, it ain't just nowadays. That's been what I've seen a lot of through my life, because some people aren't used to being treated the right way. So when they get treated the right way, they don't know how to handle it. And that's that's a that's a true statement. And I think that gap has gotten even wider, like we talked about even today, that you have so many people that are used to being and I hate to say it like this, but mistreatment is almost the norm today.
Mm.
People seem to have the expectation of being mistreated, you know, as opposed to having the expectation of being treated correctly. So you definitely right about that. So I know your book talks about the seven keys, and we're not going to give it all. We're not going to give it away, because we want people to go out and buy the book, and we'll be able to give you, Don's going to give you his information in a few minutes. But can you talk about, can you give the viewers just kind of three keys to sustainable success, or what you've come to see has been sustainable success?
Sure thing. So the first key that I'll drop on you is habit awareness.
Mm.
Habit awareness, being aware of your habits. Do you have habits that will build you to a better future? Are they fortune building habits or debt building habits? And fortune building habits
Wow.
involve making sure that your good day starts the night before. Because a good day always starts the night before, because when you go to bed and you do something that'll benefit you, like reflecting on the day, asking yourself questions like, what good did I do today? What did I share today? What did
Mm,
I learn today? Your focus is going to be on learning good and what you learned
okay.
and focusing on those things. And when you focus on those things as opposed to watching or listening to the 11 o'clock news and then going to bed,
Woo.
having death on your mind, especially with
Mm,
this COVID crap, like I turned off all the news. I actually don't really watch too much of the news, try to get
mm.
some of the family to turn it off because
I'm
they
the
keep
same way.
showing up. Amen, man, because you see them numbers all day. It's like, this ain't stock market. No, this is bad. This is
Yeah,
people dying. Like, come on
yeah,
now.
yeah. I remember years ago when I was in me and my best friend. She and I still me and my best friend now. She and I've been best friends since college. And this was maybe a couple years out of college or whatever and stuff like that. And she used to always get on me and tell me, "You need to watch the news. You need to know what's going on and this, that, and the other." I was like, "No, I don't." I said, and I still watch I watch the national news. I don't watch local news much at all, if at all. But what I told her, I said, I can tell you the first five stories of any newscast. I said, give me. I said every single day, the only thing that you're going to hear is somebody getting shot, somebody, some accident, something like that is going to be your first five stories. It's always going to be something negative in the news. And like you talked about the news right now, the only thing you're hearing about is the COVID-19, the number of deaths that are going on, just all of these negative things, and it can consume you. It can consume you if you don't monitor it, or if you don't mitigate how much you take in. You gotta rest your brain from that and take it in just a little bit at a time to make sure that it just doesn't, where your mind doesn't just rest on that. And like you said, it is so key to be able to go to bed with a restful mind, with a restful mind.
Heck yeah, man, it's true. Because if you're going to bed ready to rest and relax, you'll wake up in a better mood. And
Mm,
then when your day begins, you can start off with the gratitude, some prayer, a little light workout of sit ups, push ups, and all the other good stuff if you want to do that to get your blood going and flowing. And heck, even sipping some water within the first couple of minutes after waking up, that gives me a boost every day when I do it. Just getting a nice, good sip of water every day when I first wake up to keep myself energized.
mhm, mhm,
And not only habit awareness, but for a next follow up would be mental awareness. Now, I mentioned this
mm,
earlier, and it all goes back to the importance of making sure you know where your mind is, making sure you get your mind right. Because when you have a renewed mind and you focus your mind on what you want to get out of life and where you want it to be, that's important. And one way to do this is focusing on what can I do today to get at least 1% better than
mm,
yesterday. And that could be in anything you want. That could be making sure that, all right, make sure that I have a good sleep schedule, making sure that I at least try to read 10 pages of this book or 20 pages, call up five people I haven't talked to in a while. Heck, it just could be something that can really make it better. And doing something different to change the way you do things habitually. I mean, of course, all of our habits and routines have changed with the pandemic, of course, but this may be a time of discovery as
mhm,
opposed
mhm.
to a time of decadence where folks are decaying around us. So use this as a time of discovery, discovering what's in yourself and discovering what's around you, discovering some things that you may have just walked right past multiple times that have been around you for a while. So we got the mental awareness, we got the habit awareness, and the next key I'll drop would be consistency and commitment. Now
Mm.
that's two different words, but hey, I'll just go ahead and drop it anyway because that's chapter 7 in the book where consistency is where the magic happens. And for those who've
Mm.
been around me a lot, they know I like to say this is where the magic happens. It's time to
I
make the
like that.
magic happen. And the magic happens is when you're consistent in doing good. What can you consistently good or
Mm.
better over time to have that compound snowball effect to roll and steamroll over anything negative in your life? Like the 50 books a year, that compounded over time to writing books of my own,
Mm.
getting in better networks where folks have double, triple, even quadruple probably more net worth than I do,
Mm.
starting a podcast and all this other growth. because I took some action from those books of like, hey, walking slowly through the crowd, just getting around people and learning about them and asking, how can I help you? How can I add more value to more people in less time? And listening to people who are delivering great messages, leaving like, hey, does someone need a book review? Does someone need to be connected with someone else?
Mhm.
Like stuff like that. And also the power of realizing that action is the inspiration, because if you're consistently doing something that'll benefit someone else, you never know. Because my first book, I had no idea what was going to come of it, because
Mhm.
five other people became authors after seeing me with the book. Because they're like, hey, if this kid in his 20s can write a book, I can sure as hell get my book out there. And one of the folks even sent me a thank you card. My man, Luke Wright. I'm always grateful for him. U.S. Marine. Love that guy. He is a fellow John Maxwell team coach,
Mhm.
and he wrote his book called The Right Thought. And he sent me a thank you card for just being an inspiration to him, of some young guy who's actually staying consistent in promoting himself and putting himself out there, because he had his book in draft mode for 2 years. It was basically done. He just needed it polished and have a cover put on it and to
Uh-huh.
just have it edited some more. And they finally did it. And it's a great book that you should also get in addition to all the other books that you're going to learn about on this show and many others. And just stuff like that. So consistency and commitment, because it's not the best thing in the world to start off good, but the better thing is to make sure that when you start off good, to keep the good going.
Absolutely, I like that. I like that. Keep the good going, and that's so important. Being consistent without like you said with the things that we do, because that becomes very important. Because they say it takes I think it's like 21 days to make or break a habit. What you do consistently in those 21 days becomes what your body becomes acclimated to, you know. And that is so true in just everything that we do. So I appreciate you sharing those are three powerful nuggets. So I hope y'all wrote those down. I hope y'all got those. That's and make sure I got them right too, Dom. You have the habit, the habit awareness, the mental awareness, and then the consistency and commitment are those three keys that you just gave to us. So those are powerful. Now, what advice would you give to an aspiring writer, someone who says, "Hey, Dom, I got this book inside me, but I'm not sure how to go about doing it." What advice would you give them?
I'd have to say, done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. That's probably the best advice I can give you, because folks talk about writer's block. If you want to get over that, do some exercise and get some sweat equity in. Because the last chapter of my book, Stay the Course, was written after a kickboxing class on a hot summer day where I was baptized in my own sweat. so when you so you so find where your place of productivity is and be open to inspiration. You can have all the stuff around you, like taking notes in your car and things like that, your smartphone app, recording it and stuff. But just make sure you get it out there, because even though you may think it's saturated
Mm,
in certain areas with all of these books out here, someone may need to hear it from you. Because it's funny enough, a lot of things that are out there right now are not entirely new. They're just said again in a different voice.
mhm,
Because there's a
mhm,
classic quote that I love from Mike Murdoch where he talks about, if you're sick and tired of hearing something, you're just then beginning to get it. And when your people are sick and tired of hearing something, they're just then beginning to get it. Because
mhm,
Christ himself, in multiple verses and multiple chapters in the Gospels, he would start off his sentences with, verily, verily, I say unto you, as in again and again. I have to say it again and again so you'll finally get it. And you may be that person where they can finally hear your voice and they finally get it for the first time, and that unlocks the door, and
mhm,
then they can open it and step into their version of their own sustainable success, all because you decided to put out your work, whether it was done, whether it was perfect or not. My first book wasn't perfect. It still isn't. I'm going to release another version of that one soon.
mhm.
And it's all because I decided to just pull the trigger, get it done, and just adjust as you go along.
Absolutely, and it has been it's been I know it's been something that has been powerful, that has taken those who have read it from their from one level to the next level, and that's what I think each of us as authors we strive to do is just I put it like this. I try to make people better after they have the encounter or whether they read the book. than what they were before they had the encounter or read the book. If I can accomplish that with with readers or listeners and everything, then I'm good with it. I'm good with it. So what's next? So what's next for you? Will you have? Do you have anything coming up that people can tune into, or people that can look forward to?
Yes, sir. Got a couple things coming up. So I got a
Okay.
third book I'm working on. That's going to be coming out. It's going to be a co-author project, Crappy to Happy, with me and about 20 plus other co-authors. So if you're feeling crappy, you'll be feeling
I like that. That's a
closer to
catchy.
happy.
That's a catchy title right there. Crappy to happy.
That's right. Going to turn from brown stuff into some real gold. That's right. And on 420, for those who don't, well, I'll leave that alone. On Monday, 420, going to be part of this youth summit called Be the Fuel Youth Summit with my buddy out in North Carolina, Chaz Jackson.
Mhm.
About 10 to 12 other speakers. We're doing a youth summit free of charge. It's going to be online.
Mhm.
All of our speeches are on there. You can just download the content, stuff about financial awareness and other positive things that'll help you out. And not only that, going to be also doing another summit on June the 1st and the 2nd. I'll be speaking on the 1st for the Inspired to Lead online summit. We're going to be talking about leadership in the home, self leadership, leadership at work, as well as leadership in the family. So you want to check that out as well. And if you want to keep up with everything else I'm doing, head over to dombrightman.com for everything else, especially the Going North podcast. We're about 230 plus episodes deep and counting. So I'm going to stay consistent with this one.
Cool, cool. And that was going to be my next one. Where can people go to purchase the book, and then also to be able to contact you if they want you to come out to be a speaker or be a part of a leadership leadership teaching course, because I think you do that as well too.
Yes, indeed. So also a leadership trainer. You can get all the information at dombrightman.com. There's a contact box in there. Heck, if you Google me, you can find me. I'm not hard to find. I'm on most of the social medias, the IGs, the Instagrams, the Facebooks, all the
Okay.
good stuff. Got a YouTube channel with a couple of other talks on there as well. So just Google me, you'll find me, and I always respond. Unless you're trying to get me to a pyramid, I don't need to do the multi-level marketing thing.
Uh, so I'm with you with that one. I'm with you. I'm with you with that one. So uh, Dominic, I can't thank you enough for coming and joining me and being a part of this author showcase, because I mean you have so much knowledge, so much information that you just shared, and this is something that I think people hopefully they won't sleep on. That reading 50 something books a year is not an easy thing. That is not an easy thing, because I remember listening to Miles Monroe one time, and he was talking about how he read it was like 60 something. I think he read like 60 something books a year, which I think broke down. I forgot how that broke down. Was maybe like two, three. It was like 4 books I think a month, something like that.
Mhm.
So I'm like, you've got to be doing an awful lot of reading to read 60 something books a month. But the amount of information that you take in with what you're reading is just phenomenal. And I've always realized this too, that reading increases your vocabulary.
Mhm.
It exercises your mind as a muscle as well. So people, I hope y'all peep that and get that about this great leader that's here, because leaders are readers. Believe that when they tell you that, right? That leaders are readers, because as leaders, you should always be the first L that I call in Are You a Leader is you should always be learning, always seeking knowledge, always seeking information that not only makes you better, because that information isn't just for you, it's for those people that will benefit from when you take in that information and you pour it into them. So, so I thank you for coming and sharing this platform, sharing the information on this platform with us. Thank you for being a part of the Author Showcase. You all can check out Dom in the latest issue of the National Black Unity News. You can go to the website at www.tnbun.com. Subscribe to the newspaper so that you can get the copy of the latest issue of the newspaper. You're able to go to the YouTube. You can go to the YouTube channel check out some of the other authors that we have that are part of the showcase. Dom's interview here will be there as well. You can check out the replay. You can check it out there again and again and again. Please make sure that you subscribe, like, and share. Share it, share it, share it with someone, because this is information that I think is power. This is really powerful information, and it's going to give you the tools that you need in order to be able to be successful. He's giving you the keys, but it does you no good to have the keys, but you don't put them in the ignition and turn the engine and go with it. So
Amen.
that's what we're doing here with these author showcase. We want to bring you, we're going to bring you some authors that are giving you the keys to how you to what it is to be successful. But it's up to you to actually take action and implement them. So we want to thank y'all for joining us. Dom, I want to thank you for coming on board, and we will see you all next time on the Author Showcase. You can check it out again. Like I said, the website page, www.tnbun.com, and the YouTube channel, the National Black Authors News, the National Black, the National Black, the National Black, what did I say? National Black Unity News. Oh my goodness, my head just went. The National Black Unity News paper. That's the YouTube channel, and then the tnbun.com is where you go to. So we'll talk to you all next time. And as I always say, chase the impact, because when you chase the impact, you change the world. And Dom, you are an impact chaser, and you are changing the world. So I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too, Brother Leroy. Thanks a bunch for having me on.